Firstly, welcome to Voiteck Connect.
Thank you.
Adam, it's an absolute pleasure, and you've actually got two hats on today. And it's a beautiful bit of a corporate branding I'm seeing on the shirt there. Well done.
Well, that's how we roll.
But we got to know each other through Toolbox.
Yes.
And you're the director of Toolbox there, but you're also now director, co-owner, and I think bootlegger at Prohibition Gin. So I was fascinated by the fact of a marketing communications company or a branding company. Then you're effectively eating your own dog food by then creating the brand of Prohibition. So why don't you explain to me, firstly, a bit about Toolbox and where all that comes together, but then I really want to understand Prohibition and how you've designed and built and delivered your brand for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I've run a design company for close to 14 years now. And part of that is we are constantly helping our clients build a brand, whether it be from scratch, whether it be rebranding, and separate themselves from the rest of the market, differentiate, create a strong, compelling story for that brand, and get their clients involved. So that's what we do on a daily basis for all manner of different clients. As you go through that journey, you often find yourself building a brand for someone and then feeling like, I just wish it could be brought to life, more powerfully, and we can only do so much. And then eventually you sort of, I guess, being a creative person, you're always looking for a new outlet. So for us, the transition into making gin, whilst it might seem like an unusual one, it was really my business partner and co-owner in Prohibition, who was a former client of mine, Wes. We had a great working relationship, and when you start working with someone that you want to maintain that sort of mechanics of that working relationship. So when he moved on from the client that we were working with, we both said, it'd be great to spark that up again in another format. Maybe we should start, some sort of fun little side project, and that's really where gin came about. So what started as what was very much a hobby in the backyard, quite literally. Before we knew it, I was interested from the point of view of creating and building a brand, and actually, as you say, eating our own dog food. It's living that brand and seeing where it can go if we're our own limitation on that, but also to be able to, I guess, creatively express ourselves through the product that we make in the gin, the packaging side of it, the marketing side, and then the building of a dynamic and interesting business. So, of course, all of those things are what makes me tick anyway, and what we do for our own clients. It's funny how when you actually come to doing that yourself, I start to understand my own clients better by having to live and breathe a brand day in, day out, over the long term, because those little niggling frustrations with, I just want to change things for the sake of changing things because I'm bored with them. I now understand that with
Gotcha.
with my clients. So really, that's sort of how that all came about.
And you've really created a destination now for that brand. So, run me through the story, because you started distilling it, if that's the correct terminology, somewhere else, but then you've moved into the city. That doesn't feel like the right place for a gin palace to be, for want of a better term. But it seems to be working for you. How comes?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess because we started in the backyard, as I said. We were fortunate enough to have an old church in our backyard at home that I
ran, everyone does,
as you do, to run my design studio from. And then just to add insult to injury for my wife, we then started the gin business from the garage behind the church. And of course the gin business was the one that, even though 13 years of design business, we'd never outgrown the space in the backyard. The gin business outgrew within less than 2 years. So we needed to move out. We also needed to actualise the rent of what was essentially at that time just a wholesale operation. So to do that, we thought really a clever way to do it, because we had this feeling we wanted to be in the city. Now, it's not normal to set up a full-scale production facility in the middle of a CBD, but the way to do that was to set up let's call it a retail arm, which in this case is a bar. So we like to refer to it as a tasting room, because it is essentially a city cellar door. But then part of that is also we are just commissioning as we speak our own still. So we started contract distilling in a sort of a nomad distiller format, where we worked with a current distiller up in the hills to custom make for us. And then we did all of the bottling from there, whereas now we're moving towards the model where we will distill our own product from the middle of the city, which is one of the few in the world. And we invite people in from Thursday to Sunday to enjoy that with us. So they enjoy the experience. It's heavily educational about what gin is all about, what our products are about, how we make them from top to bottom. And it really is that whole immersive experience in what makes gin so interesting.
Gotcha. That's fantastic. Now, just changing lines a bit on there, obviously with the enablement with the city tasting room, I like that. Not Gin Palace, so I'll keep saying tasting room now. With the tasting room, but then you also have Toolbox there as well. So the importance of technology, because you're running point of sale, you're running, I'm presuming with your graphics people, they're not downloading little files, etc.
Yep.
Then you're running telephones. Talk to me about your technology landscape.
Yeah, absolutely. Technology is absolutely crucial to what we do. Obviously, from the point of view of a design business, without that connection and absolute rock solid, stable and fast connection to the internet, we're in a world of bother. We essentially don't have a business. So it was really important for us to engage the right supplier to have our own dedicated fibre supply. And that gives us not only the design business, solid upload and download speed and 100% reliability, but also then we've got the Wi-Fi that extends through to the tasting room side of things. We've got a cafe on site as well, so we've constantly got customers in and out of that Wi-Fi. But most importantly, we've got multiple point of sale systems through the venue, from the cafe through to multiple spots in the tasting room, which if that goes down, again, we're in a world of bother. So really we needed that 100% reliable connection. We've got very flexible phone systems, which is great, running over VoIP. We were very early adopters to VoIP, and in the early days of VoIP it was tricky. Whereas these days it is absolutely rock solid, and it gives us total flexibility to push numbers through here, there and everywhere, particularly as the business just constantly changes and evolves. So that's really good for us. And I think for us it becomes the thing that we don't have to think about, because it's totally reliable. And that's the nice thing, is the technology is there. It doesn't go down. It does everything we need it to, so we set and forget in a way.
That's right.
But that's the ultimate in what technology should be. It should be there to facilitate everything we need to do without us ever having to think about it.
No, good. And I'm thinking now for your creative people that with the different and multitude of accounts that they work on, Prohibition being your own brand has helped you live and breathe from conception right the way through to delivery what a brand's all about.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys use these as throwaway lines. I love the connotations of the above the line marketing, the through the line marketing, the below the line marketing, but that whole engagement of brand. How do you then navigate? So you've become an expert in gin. How do you then navigate that into all of your different types of accounts that you use? How do you resonate to that customer?
Yeah. Look, I think the thing that I didn't foresee in moving Toolbox in with Prohibition in the city, it was really a matter of necessity. I could only be in one place. There's only one of me, and I knew that both businesses are intensely demanding of my time. So that was necessity to cohabitate. But what I've underestimated is how much my clients from the design side can walk into that business and see this microcosm of everything that we can do personified in one place. So they walk in, they see the packaging of the product, they see how it expresses as a brand, they see how that story plays out in a customer experience, and they're immersed in it. So we have clients that will come to us for the first time based off the experience they've had at Prohibition. And yes, they may be a spirit brand or they may be a winemaker, but more often than not, they're actually just any type of small business that says, if you can do this, you can do what we need. And it really is that compelling brand story that, to be honest, is the same regardless of who you are. We need to get to the core of what your business is about. We need to be able to identify what that story is that makes you special, and everyone has that story, whether they think they do or not.
So I love the fact of you've created this destination of Prohibition, which is now intertwined with your branding agency.
Oh, heavily intertwined.
That is fantastic.
It's almost seamless. And
it's got nothing to do with drinking the gin to then sign the contract.
Not at all. It does make Friday afternoon meetings more interesting, but it really does. It helps us show how we can live and breathe a brand, and you don't have to. There's a lot of explanation we don't have to do to a client. They can immediately see that we get it. And that's it's
very
hard to put it's hard
very
to put
powerful. Changing tact again. We've both been in industry now for a few haircuts. The young people and the young designers, they do get beaten up a bit of when they're coming through of everyone's a social media guru, everyone's this, everyone's that. So the new breed that are coming in, firstly, how do you attract them? Because you've got to stand out from the crowd. But then if you took your time all the way again, what counsel would you be giving these new people of actually coming into industry? What should they be doing to make sure their resume is the best one and the top one on the pile?
Absolutely. I do. I used to lecture at university when I had the time. Nowadays, I sort of pop in and do the all-important pep talk to final year students, and there's a few key points that always resonate that I really sort of drill home. One of them is passion, and it's not just for design. It's passion for what you're doing in any realm. So it's the passion that we have for the gin business that is the bit that just people take away with them anytime they interact with us. So that passion shows through from how we represent as a brand, but it's absolutely unmistakable, that passion we have for what we do. I have that same passion for design now that I did when I started. People say, as soon as, when's the day that you step away from Toolbox to be full-time in Prohibition? I said, well, hopefully never, because I have so much passion for what we do as designers. I don't want to give that up. Likewise, selfishly, I don't want to give up the gin business either. So it is a tricky juggle. For students, so in the design realm, there's the passion for what you do. We have the ability as designers, the almost very lucky, I guess, opportunity to love what we do every day and want to go to work. And the day that my designers aren't in that position, I'm doing something wrong. Because they should enjoy what they're doing. They do enjoy what they're doing as designers, and if we're not enjoying what we're doing day to day in business, then we've got the opportunity to reinvent that. That's part of running your own business, but it's also part of my duty to my staff is to do that. So I try and create the best environment for our staff to enjoy what they're doing day to day. Sure, not every job's beer and Skittles, but it is, overall, they should enjoy coming to work. They should never dread it.
Correct. So talk to me about an environment that you want to create for people.
Yeah, look, I think whether it be on the design side or on the gin side of the business, we create a space that people want to be.
Yeah.
So whether it be the interactions that we have with our staff and between our staff, the interactions that we have with our customers, that passion comes through, and we all enjoy what we do. And if we're not enjoying it, then we need to always think about that and change something.
Yeah.
So that enjoyment of what we do shows in the work that we do, and it shows in our interactions between each other. So I want my designers to enjoy coming to work. I want my bar crew to enjoy coming to work, and I want them both to enjoy getting together at the end of the day to celebrate a job well done. So
Right.
I think if you create that environment that people enjoy being around, then you will attract the right staff. Yes, we've got to do good work, and they've got to see that and want to be part of it. But then I will often pick a new staff member based off personality, because we're on both sides of the fence. We're small teams, and you've got to have a good personality fit. Someone's got to be able to roll the punches and be flexible, but they've got to enjoy the interactions with each other. Otherwise,
it always makes me just touch on the point there of resumes. Now, we've all picked, or we are in the process of picking, our life-term partners, and I've never seen my wife's resume. Isn't that funny? Where the first thing we do is actually just work off resume, but we're actually building and making bigger decisions on actually attitude and how you feel about someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I think that we should never underrate that.
No,
of actually the sense of purpose of what a person can bring.
Yeah.
We can teach the academic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can never teach attitude.
No, that's right. Absolutely. And I take all resumes with a huge pinch of salt, where tick a few boxes and then come and sit down with me.
Exactly right.
And I'll ask some of those really curly questions that are much more personality based than they are capability based, if that makes sense. So again,
brilliant.
we can train them to do stuff. We can't train them to be people that we want to do it with.
Very true. Adam, you've been on an amazing journey to date. I love the fact and the story about Toolbox as the creative brand, but then Prohibition really is your additional passion. It's not your sole passion, your additional passion.
Yeah.
So thank you for being part of Voiteck Connect. Now's your time. This is your immediate plug for Prohibition. Whereabouts are you? When do we go there, and how do we do it?
Awesome. So if you're in the city in Adelaide, we are 22 Gilbert Street. So jump on a tram from the middle of the city, hop off right nearby. Don't drive, because you're going to enjoy a great range of gins. And we want to be able to spend that time with you to teach you a bit about what it's all about. And you'll walk away firstly finding your new favourite thing to drink, but also I guess just really loving the experience of what craft gin is all about. Multiple international awards mean that the product is good, but for us it's the experience that we want to be. Excellent. Amazing.
So Prohibition Gin, Gilbert Street, jump on the tram, be in the city. That's brilliant.
See you there.
So Adam Carpenter, thank you so much, Director of Toolbox, bootlegger of Prohibition Gin. Thank you so much for being part of Voiteck Connect.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.